Today on Toon In With Me, it's another edition of On This Day.
We're taking a look back at some of the greatest moments in history that happened on June 17th.
Plus, we have cartoons featuring Bugs Bunny, Woody Woodpecker, Tom and Jerry, and more.
What's up, Doc?
Be very, very quiet.
Beep, beep.
Suffering succotash.
It's Toon In With Me.
Good morning, Toons of America. I'm Bill, your cartoon curator, and alongside me at the Nostalgia Desk is Toony The Tuna, and this is On This Day, June 17th edition.
Let's jump right in to the top old stories of the day.
You better buckle up, Toony, because our first story is a juicy one. On June 17th of 1994, Americans were glued to their televisions as O.J. Simpson led police on a 60-mile chase around Los Angeles. The pursuit became one of the most watched events in television history.
Ooh, yeah, I do love a good scandal.
Well, if it's a scandal you want, then you will love our next story. In the early morning of June 17th, 1972, the Watergate scandal began when several burglars were arrested in the office of the Democratic National Convention located in the Watergate complex of buildings.
Oh, man, it's too bad those burglars didn't have OJ's white Bronco, huh? Because they could have burned rubber, baby.
Yes, Toony, and speaking of rubber, on this day in 1837, American inventor Charles Goodyear obtained his first patent to produce rubber. Goodyear is best known for inventing the vulcanization process, which heats rubber up and makes it more durable for commercial use. Turning to American history, on this day in 1775, the Battle of Bunker Hill began. This was the first major battle of the American Revolution. Eventually, the British won this tough-fought battle, but that defeat only encouraged the revolutionary cause.
They may have won that battle, but we won the war! America!
Yes, Toony. And in other America news, on June 17th of 1885, the Statue of Liberty arrived in New York Harbor. The copper and iron statue arrived after its trek across the Atlantic in 350 pieces, packed in over 200 cases.
Lady Liberty, in all her green glory, came in 350 pieces. Oh, dude, that must have taken a long time to assemble.
Actually, Toony, Lady Liberty was originally copper-colored, but over the years it oxidized and the color changed to the greenish blue that we see today.
Well, let me tell you something. Toony the Tremendous Tuna will arrive in one piece, made of gold. Yeah, that'll do.
Toony, what are you yammering about?
Oh, the construction of the greatest landmark of all time, the statue of Toony the Tremendous Tuna.
Yeah. Well, speaking of construction, in our first cartoon, Bugs Bunny refuses to let construction workers build a highway over his hole. This one's called No Parking Hare.
We'll look back at some of the biggest events that happened on this very day in history.
It's time for firsts. On this day in 1919, the first Barney Google cartoon strip by Billy DeBeck debuted. Many of the phrases that DeBeck introduced in these comic strips are still popular today, like heebie-jeebies and great balls of fire.
Yeah, time's a-wasting, Bill.
Ah, yes, Toony. Time's a-wasting was another expression made popular by DeBeck's comic strip.
No, I meant keep it moving, please. You know, like, let's get to the next story.
Oh, yeah, right. Turning to flight firsts, on June 17th of 1947, Pan Am began the first ever regularly scheduled round-the-world commercial flight.
Oh, man, back then, flying was so luxurious. But now, they pack you in like sardines. And no offense to my sardine friends.
Moving on June 17th of 1950, Dr. Richard Lawler led a team that performed the first human kidney transplant ever recorded. Well, speaking of doctors, in our next cartoon, a weasel pretends to be a doctor when a little chick gets sick. This is the Sneezing Weasel. Tuners, we're back at the desk looking at some of the biggest events that took place on June 17th.
Yeah, and now it's time for a Toony takeover.
A Toony takeover?
Yeah, that's right. On this day, June 17th, we pay tribute to all of the unsung heroes who keep our communities clean.
Wait, what?
Yeah, today is Global Garbage Man Day, Bill.
It is?
Oh, I'm surprised you didn't know that. Now, let's take a look at some notable trash men, shall we?
Yeah, sure, okay.
The first garbage man is one of my favorites. I throw trash around a ring and then I eat it.
You're paying tribute to the trash man from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Come on, Bill. You know how much I love wrestling. Next garbage collecting heroes, Carl Taylor and James St. James.
Toony, the 1990 comedy Men at Work starring brothers Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez?
They're brothers? Oh, man, well, listen, the point is, anyone who champions against toxic waste is a hero in my book, Bill.
Toony, that wasn't even real.
Okay, fine. You want nonfiction? Then how about the very real American rock band, the Trashmen?
Oh, yeah, now we're talking. The Bird is the Word. I love that song.
It is the word. And now for some honorary mentions, because, well, you know, these people love trash and they deserve a shout out. First, the grumpiest Grouch who lives in a trash can. I'm talking about Oscar the Grouch. And the matronly compost pile herself, Marjorie the trash heap from Fraggle Rock.
Toony, seriously, I have to say that was one of the most interesting tributes that I've just about ever seen.
Well, thank you, Bill.
Well, in honor of global sanitation workers, let's watch a cartoon where Woody Woodpecker is a street sweeper. Here is What's Sweepin'. Coming up next, it's Time Capsule Trivia with Mr. Quizzer. It's time to play Time Capsule Trivia with Mr. Quizzer.
Thank you, Barry. Well, folks, it's me, Mr. Quizzer. And I'm interrupting your cartoon programming to put your literary knowledge to the test. Here is today's question. What best-selling sports book was published on June 17th, 2003? Was it A, The Blind Side, B, Friday Night Lights, C, Moneyball, or D, Fever Pitch? You know, Mr. Quizzer used to bat over 500. I mean, it was T-ball, but that still counts, right? Looks like we're out of time. Hey, if you picked C, Moneyball, you're right on the money. You're correct. Author Michael Lewis's Moneyball, The Art of Winning an Unfair Game, was an instant bestseller. It told the story of Oakland A's baseball manager Billy Beane. Beane revolutionized baseball by using overlooked statistical data to scout his players. This method allowed the low-budget Oakland A's to compete with the big-budget teams. The book was adapted into a film in 2011, starring Brad Pitt. Well, that's going to do it for Time Capsule Trivia. Stay tuned for more cartoons when we return. Quizzer out!
Hey, welcome back to the Nostalgia Desk, Tuners.
Let's take a look at some of the events that took place on June 17th in TV and film. On this day in 1941, WNBT-TV in New York City was granted the first construction permit to operate a commercial TV station in the United States.
Now we have a whole alphabet soup of TV stations. Of course, ours being the best.
Let's turn our attention to film releases on this day. On June 17th of 1983, Superman 3 starring Christopher Reeve and Richard Pryor premiered at the box office, proving less successful than its predecessors.
Oh, man, I love both those guys, but oof, Superman 3 pretty much torpedoed the entire franchise.
Yes, Toony, fans were disappointed by the campy comedic tone. Now turning to animated releases. On June 17th of 2018, The Incredibles 2 set a record for an animated release, earning $180 million at the box office its opening weekend.
Wow, you know, if there's one word to describe that, it would be incredible.
Another Pixar film that premiered on this day in 2016 is Finding Dory, the sequel to the 2003 hit Finding Nemo.
Wait. I know Nemo, but who's Dory?
Well, she's the blue fish from Finding Nemo that's always forgetting everything.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Hey, Bill, who's Dory?
Well, Toony, I just told you. She's Nemo's friend. Oh, okay. I see what you're doing. That's very funny, Toony. Very funny. How about we watch a fishy cartoon?
What's a cartoon?
In this short, a hungry alley cat tries to steal Andy Panda's pet goldfish. This is Fish Fry.
Hey, welcome back to On This Day, June 17th edition.
Toony, are you ready to rock and roll?
Okay, all right, enough, Bill, enough, please. I take it this is your way of saying we're wrapping things up with music news.
Well, you've got that right, Toony. On June 17 of 1971, Carole King's Tapestry album went to #1 on the U.S. charts for the first of 15 consecutive weeks. The album featured King's hit song, It's Too Late. 1 year later, in 1972, the Rolling Stones' double album, Exile on Main Street, hit #1 on the Billboard charts. The album featured classics like Tumbling Dice, Rocks Off, and Rip That Joint, and it went on to spend 4 weeks at the top of the charts.
Oh, man. At 81, Jagger still has swagger. And that signature strut, ooh la la.
Well, speaking of swagger, on this day in 1978, Andy Gibbs' Shadow Dancing began a 7-week run as the #1 single on the U.S. Billboard charts. Gibb would make history as the first solo artist to have his first 3 releases reach #1.
Oh, man, nothing used to get the ladies going like Andy Gibb shaking his tuchus while pouring out his little falsetto heart. And speaking of shaking, Bill, in 2006, the original hip shaker, my girl, Shakira, scored her first #1 single in the U.S. with Hips Don't Lie. Hey, Bill, are my hips lying?
No, Toony, I don't think they are. How about we just wrap things up with a musical cartoon? In our last short, Jerry keeps interrupting Tom's piano concert. Here is the Cat Concerto. Tuners, thank you so much for joining us for today's edition of On This Day.
And we hope the rest of your day is as historic as this episode was.
Well, for now, it's bye-bye from Bill.
And thanks from the Nostalgia Desk.
On the next, Tune In With Me. From the big screen to the small screen, movies that became animated series.
Yeah, iconic characters all around.